We're now live on YouTube, starting us up on Rumble. Good morning, hello, and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is about what happened on this date throughout the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for interesting and important happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. I am A.O. Xander.
King's Refuge.
Connor.
And we will be joined by the Golden Load. Hopefully sooner rather than later. And of course, you viewer are you. Thank you very much for coming in and watching us. Today is Saturn's Day, aka Saturday, August 17th, 2024. Good Sir King, do you want to start us off here in the year 682?
682, Leo II begins his reign as Catholic Pope.
Alright, so it's one of these Pope days again, I see. What else do we got?
About 1,000 years later, in 1563, King Charles IX of France declared an adult at 13.
So Japan rules. Like, isn't the age of consent in Japan like 13 or 12 or something like that? Like,
why do they make it? Why does it matter if he's an adult or a kid? He's up at bat.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, we've had 5-year-old kings, you know.
But were they good kings though? That's the question. Like, if you declare them an adult, would they be like, oh, well, I'm looked at as an adult now. I have responsibilities. I gotta do things. I can't just go play with the ball. You know, like I gotta order troops in to die. You know, like. I mean, there might be a psychological aspect to it. Oh, you're now an adult. Here's your big boy britches, like...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I guess. 1590, Governor Roanoke Island colony John White returns from England to find no trace of the colonists he had left there 3 years ago earlier. Oh, I remember that.
The Roanoke, great mystery.
I remember that. They just disappeared. No signs, nothing.
Yeah, there is still there was not really food on the table or anything, but it's as if they just dropped and
it
left.
was just like they vanished one day.
Yeah.
In the middle of doing whatever they were doing.
Now the colony itself wasn't called Roanoke. The word comes from after this guy here, John White, came back, and there was a single word written on is Roanoke, and that was the name of a nearby Native American tribe. So it is believed that they were either killed or something, but there was no signs of a struggle or a raid.
Right.
So maybe the common consensus is that they were getting low on supplies, so then they just went and lived with the natives and just kind of blended in and erased into history. But yeah, no, anybody watching this, after this show, of course, but go look up the Roanoke mystery. It's really incredible.
Good story.
Yeah. 1661 here, French Superintendent of Finances Nicolas Fouquet threw one of the grandest and opulent parties ever seen in France, appalling King Louis XIV and leading to Fouquet's arrest for embezzlement weeks later. Wow, can you imagine being so, petty that your neighbor threw a better party than you, that you had them arrested? Wow. 1787 here, Jews are granted... I'm sorry?
Sorry, I was making a snide remark.
What was the remark?
I'll show you power.
Well, I mean, they could be kind of doing that with Trump.
Oh, well,
They've been trying to throw every single thing at him just because he's more popular.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a whole conversation for another day. Maybe tomorrow during the talk show or something. But anyway, 1787 here, Jews are granted permission in Budapest, Hungary, to pray in groups. All right, religious freedom. I'm all for that.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't care if you're Jew, Arab, Christian. Whatever. You're a human, I'm a human, we all have the same, God-given rights to do certain things, to practice certain beliefs, live and let live. So, yeah. 1788 here, Losettville in Ohio, which is now Cincinnati, was founded. So, happy birthday, Cincinnati.
But
Yeah. And actually, that's not even...
Good name change. Cincinnati rolls off the tongue better.
Yeah, yeah. Let's move on up into the next century. What do we got in 1807?
1807, Robert Fulton steamboat Claremont begins his first trip up Hudson River.
All right.
Right.
Yeah.
1819, Church Missionary Society establishes New Zealand's second mission station at Curry.
So I wonder if those are the same kind of missions as like we have out here in California and whatnot. You know. Like religious missions and
Yeah.
they're like the missions themselves, you know, they're like, you know, they're like you know, back in the day, you know, bed and breakfast, you know, things like, you know, they're about one day's horse ride away from each other. So that way, no matter what, you know, if you're traveling, if you're on a pilgrimage, if you're exploring, there's always a bed and a roof over the head, you know? So, like 1834.
Charles Darwin reaches the top of Campana in Chile during his voyage on the Beagle.
Huh. So, Campana, like, did he climb a mountain, or is this like geographically the top of something?
I don't know. The
Leonardo
Beagle's also
Campana.
throwing me off. I'm just imagining him climbing a dog.
1835 year, Suleiman Merrick of Springfield, Massachusetts, patented the first wrench. All right. So yeah, what was I saying about questions you don't know you have? Like, you know, who patented the first wrench? Well, here you go.
Yeah.
And one more year later, 1836, British Parliament accepted registration of births, marriages, and deaths. So, you know, documenting people's lives, you know, from the very beginning until the very end, and anything intermediary. So, we've just gotten joined by...
The Golden Loon.
Welcome, welcome. How are you today?
Good. What have I missed?
Well, we just went over 1836, British Parliament accepted registration of births, marriages, and deaths. So birth certificate, death certificate, marriage certificate, so...
So they accepted all that as official stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
1836 as well, Charles Darwin left South America for the last time on HMS Beagle. You know, that was his ship.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, HMS Beagle, Her Majesty's ship. That was the Beagle. That was a ship that, you know, he went around all over the world, Galapagos and everything. Like,
I wonder if he had a dog. A beagle.
I wonder if he...
Hey, got the same thing I was getting.
Like mine's.
I just kept imagining him as a little tiny person climbing this giant beagle.
Like just riding a beagle like Napoleon. Onward! Let's solve evolution.
He's on a beagle's back paddling.
Yeah.
Damn dog.
Yeah. Well, that makes me wonder, like, because as we all know, Charles Darwin not only, you know, like found and categorized many new species.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
according to legend, which I think this has been proven true for the most part, he ate at least one of everything he found. You know, just to see how it tasted, if it was edible.
Skyrim.
Yeah.
Tastes like chicken, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, you know, like he's discovering all these new species. Is it edible?
I
you
find
know?
that hard to believe. I don't know.
That is a thing. Like, he did get food poisoning and
Listen.
stuff, you know, every now and then, whatnot. Like, you know.
Jot it down. Okay. I
Let's go
did
back
not
to
die
the-
from
did he
eating
eat a
this bug.
beagle?
Okay,
Bagel?
next bug.
Well,
A beagle?
That's
Not
where
a beagle.
Well, I'm pretty sure he ate a bagel too, but
Yeah.
but that's where I was going, and I was wondering, like, you know,
It's a
like,
beagle
did
bagel.
did he know what a beagle was? Did he eat a beagle? You know, like,
Wow, this has really turned ugly.
yeah. Oh, what do we got here? 10 years later, 1846.
1846, Commodore Robert F. Stockton of the Navy annexes California.
Ooh,
Ooh, there's a biggie.
yeah.
Yeah.
We all know Stockton, California. You know, up
Yeah.
northeast.
Middle, Eastern Mid-East.
Yeah, well, I'm saying
South.
northeast of Sacramento. It's
Yes.
like just up there.
It's
you
above
know.
Sacramento. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's I doubt if it's east of Sacramento.
I think
Maybe.
it is, but hold on a second. California map. Let's see. Let's get images. Let's see here.
No.
Let's bring up this map here. Open image in new tab. Hopefully it lets me. No, it won't let me bigger it. Okay.
kind of irrelevant unless you live in California. But while you're looking it up, let me give you a little bit of trivia. Obviously, the Pacific Ocean is the far west. Now, Reno, Nevada is farther west than Los Angeles, California.
Yes.
That's true.
Were you guys listening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reno, Nevada is more west than Los Angeles, California. Can you believe that? That's kind of a mindfuck.
With
But-
west being the far west being the Pacific
I
Ocean.
don't go down there very much, so.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can see right here, LA is right here and Reno is up here. So,
Yeah.
you know, it is more west. But I was half wrong, and we were both right on the section I was right. It is east, but it's not northeast, it's southeast
Oh,
of
southeast.
Sacramento. Stockton right
Of
Yeah.
course. Yes, of course.
here. Yeah.
Yep.
I thought it was closer to Sacramento, not San Diego or
I thought
Francisco.
I thought it was more suburbs of Sacramento. You're right.
I did too. I thought it was up here, like where
It
Yuba
is
City
farther
is.
south.
But yeah. All right. So we all learned something new today. What else do we got here? 1858.
1858, first bank in Hawaii opens.
Woohoo.
All right. And then we were
Mhm.
talking about all those banks in Hawaii closing. Remember, like a year or so ago, like all those smaller banks were just closing and like foreclosing and all that stuff for a while.
No, I
You
don't
don't
remember
remember?
any of it.
Does anybody here remember that? Like, you know, for a little bit there was like all those littler banks were closing and everything.
Oh, I may not have been on a show where
Yeah.
you did that too.
Well, no, it wasn't. It wasn't long ago history. Like this happened,
Oh.
like last year,
Oh,
like
okay.
within the past year or so.
Oh yeah, a lot of banks are closed, including my bank, my
Yeah, that's
business bank.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like we're talking about the first bank in Hawaii opens, and then like just a couple years ago, a bunch of banks, including like a bunch of stuff in Hawaii. I equate this because this happened somewhere around the whole Maui fire. Like,
Oh, okay.
because like, the whole Maui thing happened, and then
Okay.
like a month later, all these banks started like exploding.
Well, our
like,
banking system is in trouble overall.
oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
But going from a bank to something else just 1 year later, what do we got here? This is interesting.
Oh, first airmail in a balloon took off from Lafayette, Indiana.
Balloon mail.
Oh, it's
You know?
kind of like drone mail.
Yeah,
Kind of like it's full of hot air.
yeah. Well,
Ha ha ha!
it's like, can you imagine, you know, like getting a bill? It's like, you know, through balloon mail. Here's a bill. Watch out, it's inflated.
Oh my god.
Man. I'm afraid to go down that road.
1863, federal batteries and ships attacked Fort Sumter in South Carolina. So, you know, Civil War stuff.
Yeah.
And, you know, by batteries, we're talking about land emplacements, you know,
Right,
cannons
right,
and all that
right.
stuff. It's not like somebody's throwing a bunch of Duracells at them. You know, that'd be weird. Like, although if you puncture them and throw them, they could act like makeshift grenades.
Wouldn't, and I'm trying to get the term of battery in place. Of course, it's more in history on the East Coast, but weren't they like defensive spots where they considered them batteries? You know, where they
Yes.
had cannons, stuff like
Yes,
that.
it's mainly for defense.
Yeah.
You know, but they, you know, if they had the ability, you could turn a battery and start firing on other batteries if they've been compromised or taken, which is,
Yeah.
it sounds like what happened in this case.
Yeah.
You know. 1870, we have the first ascent of Mount Rainier in Washington by Rainier, yeah, by Hazard Stevens and P.V. Van Trump. What a name, Van Trump. So,
That's a
yeah,
that's a
P.V. Van Trump.
beautiful mountaintop.
Yeah,
I was up there one summer and they still had snow in July on
yeah. You gotta speak up a little bit so
Okay.
the mic can hear
Yep.
you. But what names? Hazard Stevens. You know, Hazard. Who has a name called Hazard? I mean, you know, we've heard of the Dukes of Hazzard, but that wasn't their name. But then P.B. Van
I was
Trump.
just about to say that.
But then we have P.V. Van Trump. So we have Peanut Butter Edwin Van Buren Trump. Like, what's going on over here? You know? 1876, Richard Wagner's opera Golta Damerung premiered in Beirut. Huh.
it. Premiered in Beirut.
Beirut. Beirut. Maybe it's not the same Beirut, but
Oh.
In-
That's it's spelled completely different.
Beirut or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh. I think that's only in there because of the word. You know, Golter Damerung.
Could be Beirut. I can't really read it too well. I don't have glasses.
Bayruth.
It could be Rue. Beirut.
Maybe. No. I don't know. Anyway, 1877, U.S. astronomer Asaph Hall discovered Mars' moon, Phobos. So the discovery of Phobos. I'm familiar with that name. And also in 1879, Ferdinand de Lesseps formed the French Panama Canal Company. Yeah, so the France.
Yeah.
Which
failed.
Yeah, which failed, and then eventually we took it up and everything. And from start to end, it took like roughly 100 years. But that's just because of the massive break in between and everything. It
basically failed again, and they had to reboot.
But
and now it's going to eventually be very insignificant because it hasn't been able. It's not allowed to grow with the size of the ships and everything else, and the lack of water they have and everything.
Yeah,
they got nothing but problems down there in Panama.
Yeah, no, you're telling me Mexico is doing something.
Yeah, and from Atlantic to Pacific coast, there's a small land area in the very south of Mexico, and they're putting a big rail system through, so they will literally come down and unload the ships, rail them to the other side, and reload them.
Yeah. Hey, it works. Like
It'll work really well.
Yeah, it's a very antiquated form of doing things. That's what they used to do before they built the canal. So eventually, we're going to have to build another canal. Because
this is pretty efficient.
Yeah, it is, but at the same time, it's not.
Rather than have I don't know if they ever did rail like that before, or did they just go around the Horn, which was horrendous.
Well, they did rail and they went around the Horn. Like at the end of the day,
that's like an extra month or two at a time.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, it's attributed to cost and efficiency.
Of course.
Now, if you're talking about just going from the Atlantic to the Pacific or whatever, if, on the canal, you just use a canal. Okay, that's cool and everything, and of course you pay a fee and everything. But think about this: the amount of time, effort, and energy and resources you have to dock here, unload, load onto a train, move it over, unload, load it back onto a boat. That is so incredibly not efficient that eventually they're gonna have to build a. We're repeating history, essentially.
But what you're forgetting about is the canal. As you just pass through the canal, there's locks in it because they're Atlantic Pacific different elevations. So you got to go through locks. You got to fill them up. You gotta drain them. I mean, you just don't cruise on through.
That is true.
You only get so many ships through a day. And now they had such a drought down there, they don't have enough water, so they've even limited how many other ships. So there are ships sitting out there now for maybe a week or better.
I don't know how you can run out of water when you literally have two oceans on either side. It makes no sense.
But
you're talking about the lake.
Yeah, it's the lake that's diminishing.
Yeah, the freshwater portion.
Because that's a big portion of how they get. It's not the canal doesn't go across land from sea to sea.
Yeah,
it goes to a lake. It goes into a lake.
Yeah,
and then they go out to the Pacific.
It's not one continuous structure.
Right.
Yeah.
The lake, is crucial. That's why it's right there.
Yeah, and the whole of course environmentalism gets into the thing too much salt water is getting into the freshwater lake. What's going on with that ecosystem? So all this politics and crap is getting into it and all that stuff and
Well, it's water in the lake that's really threatening them.
I have an idea that can solve a lot of problems. Stop being such a consumerist pig. Stop buying so much crap. We don't need all of this shipping and all this stuff if we just, reduce the amount of crap we buy, just useless stuff. Like this phone stand. This is nice and nifty, but we don't need things like this. And how many hundreds of thousands or millions of these are made every year? Those have to be shipped.
Folks, don't listen to them. If you like food on your table and a shelter over your head,
that's completely
different. We need crap.
That's completely.
Well, we need crap because we are now dependent on it as a society.
We do. There's some things that we need, but the vast majority of everything we buy, we absolutely do not need. We don't need a bigger car. We don't need a bigger fridge. We don't need this.
I agree with you 100%.
We don't need a new bicycle
but that's what
every
we've
year.
now built our livelihood
but
on.
we gotta build. We gotta build our livelihood back on something more, more sensible.
What?
No
food is sensible?
I'm not talking about food. I'm talking about crap.
Well, crap is food.
No, food is a necessity. This is not.
I understand that. If you don't have that, you're not going to meet your necessities for the people.
This is not a necessity.
I agree 100% with what you're saying. It's the results I disagree with. Because we as a society
Yeah.
now
We just-
rely on crap
Yeah.
to feed everybody, to shelter
Unfortunately.
everybody.
Yeah, because
Without
there's
it,
healthy
we
food
don't.
and there's bad food.
And
But
millions
you
will
still
die.
need food.
Well,
So I agree with you 100%. And at some point, maybe we will start to make a turn and rely on something that is real. But that's a ways down the road.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, you can't stop me from hoping.
No, I'm
Oh,
on
no.
board with you. We live on, we're a throwaway society. I agree
Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
In fact, what's the biggest bitch? Landfills. We're filling them up. Oh my God.
Dude, the amount of waste, like just think about it, okay? Like, you know, every time the trash truck comes by your house, think about it. All the trash from your street, from your neighborhood, put that on a town scale, a city scale, a county scale, a state scale, you know, like, you know, just all the trash. How much waste are we producing, and where are we putting it? How we're literally building entire mountain ranges of crap, covering it up, you know, with layers of dirt. You know, there's a whole process and everything, but it's just like, wow, like, you know, and this has been going on for since humanity began. Like,
Look at communities as a human body.
yeah,
We take in what we need, and then when we get fat and sassy, we take in more than we need. And what do? We crap a bunch of stuff. Where are you going to put all that crap?
yeah, we're gunking the
So it's
system.
the same thing.
Yeah, more or less.
Man is reflecting himself in society.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Let's see. Moving on up, what do we got here in 1883?
The first public performance of the Dominican Republic's national anthem, Himno Nacional. Nacional.
So the Dominican Republic has a national anthem. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well, they should, as they should.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if every country has a national anthem. Like, you know, they all have flags. You got to have a flag if you're a country. That's like the rule for some reason.
Well, we are flag crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Definitely.
like Eddie Izzard. Eddie Izzard actually like does a whole bit. Like, if I may,
But
Eddie.
the flag feels so great. You
Is it about
wrap
the
yourself
constant
in the
changing
flag, it
of the
feels
certain
so good.
flag?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me play this
It's
here
just
really
to,
quick.
It's just to keep the flag people in business.
Yeah.
And we built
So they
up
can't-
empires. We stole countries. That's what you do. That's how you build an empire. We stole countries with the cunning use of flags. Yeah. You just sail around the world and stick a flag in. I
Yep.
claim India for Britain.
This is
They go,
mine
you
now.
can't claim us. We live here. 500 million of us.
Fuck you, you don't even
have
have
a
a flag.
flag.
I'm taking it.
We don't need a bloody flag. It's our country, you bastard. No flag, no country. You can't have one. That's the rules that I've just made up. And I'm backing it up with this gun that was lent from the National Rifle Association.
Man, I'm backing it up with
Hey,
this
but
gun.
the best thing on that is, what do? We land on the moon. We stick a flag
We
in it,
did.
and it's standing there like the wind's blowing.
Actually, what's really funny is because of solar radiation, now that flag has been completely bleached out. So if any extraterrestrials come over here, they're gonna think France did it. Ah!
Not France.
Freaking, you know, frog people, baguettes. I don't know. Like,
Yeah, there's
Let
a
them
bit.
eat
Wow.
cake.
There's this bit on why they keep changing the trans flag. It's to keep the flag businesses in business.
oh yeah,
Flag
well, like,
people.
you know. I mean, you know, you add another stripe, add another color, add another star, whatever. You know,
Yep,
now
you gotta make more new flags now. You
now
gotta
everybody
buy new
has to go
flag.
buy another one. You know,
Well,
like.
one's life does need such a color.
What else do we got here? 1891.
1891, first public bathhouse with showers opens in New York City. People's Bath.
Huh.
Oof,
I mean, like, you know, the homeless
that
need
would
to
not
bathe,
go over
like,
well today.
Yeah, of course they do.
Yeah.
You say that like, oh yeah, what? Man, you haven't bathed since '92? What the hell? You
Oh.
look crusty.
Oh my god, did you hear about the guy, like, who didn't bathe for, like, I don't know how many years? Like, let's see if, guy who never
Oh.
made.
Was he a Frenchman?
No.
There was a guy.
No, this guy here. Like, this guy,
Oh,
he
man.
never bathed for 50 years. He died at the age of 94. But you want to talk about crusty. Like, look at this guy.
Wow.
Never bathed for 50 years. Like, that
I used
guy.
to have a guy come in like that.
What?
When I was a cashier, I used to have a guy come in like that.
Oh, wow.
And you could smell him like 10 feet
Yikes.
away.
That's nasty.
And he always came to my lane. It's like, oh, God, what did I do with this? And, like, I don't know, he had this thing where he's ordered to take a shower, like,
Huh.
once a year.
Probably would have killed him.
Huh.
And he was asking you, don't you feel better? Don't you feel great that you're clean? He's like, yeah, I do. And then he would just go back to being a dirty hobo again.
Yeah. I mean, I want to coin a new term. We've all heard the term, deadhead and everything.
Yeah.
But I want to call this guy a dreadhead because his entire face looks like a dreadlock. You know? Like, yikes.
Well, a deadhead is very specific to the Grateful Dead.
Well, yes. I'm just, it rhymes, so that's
Yeah,
why I'm
okay.
bringing it in. So.
There's a blackface joke in there, but somewhere, but I'm not gonna touch it.
What else do we got here? Another 1891.
1891, electric self-starter for automobile patented.
Ooh. So, like, that sounds like, trying to get rid of the choke or something. Electric self-starter.
Oh, yeah?
Like,
Well...
I mean, what was the use of a choke?
The choke was really important because you'd pull the choke out to inject oil
Fuel.
into the
Okay.
fuel into the carburetor, so it'd ignite easily.
Okay, so it was like, a valve opening thing.
Yeah.
Why'd they call it a choke? Like, I always thought, like, you choke the engine. Like, you're preventing something from getting in there. What?
Yeah, it is kind
Oxygen?
of a misnomer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Aren't you preventing oxygen from getting in there? That's why it's called a choke.
Well, maybe so. Maybe you're putting more fuel and oxygen in there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. You're
Yeah,
choking
because
off the-
depending on
could
how
be-
much depends
we're,
on how
we're looking at what it
powerful
does,
is,
but
and
what
more
it actually
powerful
does
is, the
would
more
be
it
choke
hurts the
off
engine
oxygen.
itself.
Yeah.
Could be. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah. What were you saying, Sir Khan?
I was just saying the gist of kind of how they use it to prevent from damaging the engines.
Ah,
And-
okay.
Yeah. I think it's called like knocking or something like that. I don't remember.
Oh, that's a whole different something right there. Like, you don't
Yeah,
want
not
your engine to
knocking
knock.
would- No, that's...
That's not good.
Yeah.
No. 1897.
WD Purvis patents electrical railway switch, aka points.
I don't know what AK points, like,
He's
also
the
known
reason
as
why the trolley
a point switch or something.
thing exists.
That reminds me of a recent incident. Oh, obviously somebody flipped the switch thing. Did you hear about that?
Oh, this jackass.
No.
Yeah. Some
He's
idiot.
going away for a long time.
Yeah, some idiot 19-year-old kid, a train enthusiast and everything. Like, you know how
Yeah,
people like love
yeah.
trains. Like, you know how much Sheldon Cooper loves trains and everything
Yeah,
and all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Well, this kid, infatuated with trains and everything, and essentially for whatever reason he got this in his head and he had everything. There's a whole story behind this, and it's been covered by everybody. But basically, he went to this one train yard, and he broke open the lock or something to a switch flip, and he flipped the switch, and he recorded a train coming and derailing.
Oh,
He
man.
derailed the whole thing, and then he's saying they're recording and everything. Now it's
Acting
crazy.
surprise. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah, now they have him like on camera there. Like, he showed up like
On
a day or
camera.
so before, fucking around with things, and he showed up, set up his
He-
camera,
he's-
pointing at this area.
Yeah.
No less than 5 minutes later, that derailment thing happened. One of the engineers comes out, and then this kid is like, "Oh yeah, no, yeah, do you have any idea what happened?" And the engineer is like, "No." And then this 19-year-old kid. Okay. Oh well, obviously somebody flipped the switch, rail switch, or whatever
Yeah.
it's called. How
Yeah.
the hell would you know this?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like,
Man, that's terrible.
thankfully nobody got injured or anything like that. But like hundreds of thousands of dollars in damages. Now that rail line is not in use until they get that off of there or back on. Whatever it is that they do with derailed trains. Like, it's not like everything flipped. It just hopped the rail. It's still standing, but it's off the rail.
Wow.
Like,
yeah.
It wasn't a major like flip over, an explosion, any of that, but it was still off the rail, and the engine is in several of the cars, off the rail.
Yeah.
That's not good. You know?
Yeah.
Idiot kid. Anyway, moving on up into the 1900s, 1901, the Royal Titles Act added the words "and the British dominions beyond the seas" to the monarch's title. Okay, so the monarch and the land, and blah blah blah. And
Read it one more time.
The Royal Titles Act added the words "and the British dominions beyond the seas" to the monarch's style. So when you introduce like, oh, this is the King of England and all the lands and blah blah blah, like, so that was added to when you introduce her to their title.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, I gotcha.
1903, Joe Pulitzer donated $1 million to Columbia University and begins the Pulitzer Prizes in the United States.
Yeah.
All right.
Writers, right?
I believe so. Yeah, Pulitzer.
Yeah, Pulitzer's for writers.
Yeah. I'm going to take these two 1908s, and then you can take 15 if you do so wish. We have the Bank of Italy, which is now the Bank of America, one of the worst banks, arguably, in the entire world. Opens their new HQ, the Bank of Italy building at Clay and Montgomery in San Francisco. Now, I've spoken about this before, but do you want to know why the Bank of Italy became the Bank of America?
I know and I've forgotten, darn it. Tell us.
So, after the Great Quake in San Francisco, that just devastated everything, the Bank of Italy took advantage, and they changed their name to Bank of America to make themselves seem more approachable, more, it's the Bank of America. They started giving out loans and financially assisting all these people in need, and then they turn around and put them in debt and, like, screw them financially as they do. But, they changed their name to make themselves, seem more approachable. It's totally, taking advantage of, but, like, manipulation of people, in their interest.
Yeah.
Disgusting, diabolical, and
It's like the Fed.
Yeah. Well, it's nothing different than Google making Alphabet. It's nothing different than Facebook making Meta. It's nothing different than Chiquita Banana or whichever banana company changed their names after the Banana Wars.
Well, obviously, in America, changing your name to Bank of America instead of Bank of Italy is going to make people much more comfortable dealing with it.
Exactly. Well, I find that completely reprehensible.
I remember, as you told it, we must have talked about this sometime
many
back.
times.
It was right around the quake, or right after the quake, or soon after. I do remember you talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember bringing it up after the quake because they have to get financial help somehow.
Yeah.
And like, let's change our name and let's screw over everybody financially.
But wait a minute. On the other hand, here's humanity for you. They're so grateful somebody comes to help. Oh my God, we got help. Thank you. We're gonna have it. And then you got to pay it back. What the hell are you doing to me? You go from a good guy to a bad guy.
Well, it's not.
Now, where's the truth? Somewhere in the middle.
See, here's the thing. It's not that, I have to pay it back. What are you doing to me? It's like, I have to pay it back with interest and with this and with that. Like, it's not just they have to pay back what they're owed. They have to pay back so much more. It's just like, okay, that's BS.
Well, it's not BS. I mean, you wouldn't. Money would not be available to you if you're not going to pay interest. Who's going to loan you money for nothing? That's the way they make money. I make money doing business a certain way. I get paid more than it costs. That's the way it works.
Then there's no reason to have overdraft fees to be so high.
Well, I don't know. There's another conversation. Pay
Yeah.
your bills
Poor
on time.
people
You
tax
want
it.
to talk about, okay, banks are a business, they need to make money, yes, but they make money in so many ways that, some areas they can get rid of, but they're just greedy,
I don't know if greedy's the right term, but they sure make good money because look at the buildings they build. I agree
With
that
your
to some
money,
point.
same as casinos, Anyway, 1908 as well, the projection in Paris of the very first animated cartoon, Phantasmagorie, realized by Emile Cole. Emile Cole, I've heard that name before. But yeah, Phantasmagorie, the very first animated cartoon. Well, I guess the cartoon has to be animated, so the very first cartoon. 1908. Like,
I would have thought it would have gone into the 1800s, but obviously I don't know what I'm talking about. It just seems sooner than I thought, but not really, I guess.
It might have been, but this is like the first, really, like, and this is it right here, so. Look at that headdress, man. wild. Like, this reminds me of a lot of, like, nonsensical cartoons you see on meme sites and everything. Like,
You know what? I can't help. This is 1908.
yeah.
100 and what?
816, 24, 116 years.
Where are we going to be in another 116 years?
If
cow.
we're even around.
If we're even around.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get all doom and gloom here, but, you know, look at the world around you. It's not
That's
looking
just
good.
amazing. That's what amazes
No.
me.
Yeah. No, 116 years ago, you know?
My dad was born 4 years after that.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And look where we are today.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
And you go back 100 years before this, 1808.
That was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, you know?
And then it turns and it shoots skyrockets. We've been in the skyrocket.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, you know, it exponential, you know, increase in
Yeah.
everything. As technology grows, it grows faster and faster and faster. And, like, I remember, like, back in
And
the...
it always compounds. So when you
Yeah.
start hitting that compounds at a certain point, it
Yeah.
just shoots.
Yes. Well, like, I remember, like, you know, back when I, like, you know, 2007, 2008 and all that stuff, when gaming computers were really, like, you know, becoming a thing and all that stuff, like, I had gotten, you know, this you know, $2,000 monster lad. Do I still even have it? I think I have it packed away somewhere. I'm not sure if it's in this cabinet. No, it's not. So I have like this $2,000. Like, it was like, you know, the meanest of the mean, you know, gaming, you know, laptops and everything.
Oh, okay, yeah.
By the time Mom bought it and exited the store, it was
red,
already
right?
Yeah, big red.
Yeah, big
it
red.
You know, it was already obsolete. You know,
yeah.
and nowadays, you know, like it's just by the time a concept comes out, the concept's already obsolete. Not even the, you know, buying or anything. Like, it's
And
absolutely
the
crazy.
guys in the store with the computer knowledge,
Yeah.
you're buying this for your son? Oh, man, did they all want it? It's so awesome. Are you kidding me? This kid's so lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's move on up here. What do we got in 1915?
Hurricane makes landfall near Galveston, Texas, killing 275 and causing $50 million in damage.
$50 million in 1915.
Wow.
That has got to be
Okay, well, you
like
gotta
several
go see
hundred.
what,
You know
what
what?
that amount of money was
500.
today.
500.
Let's see, 1915 money.
Closer to a
value.
billion.
my-
I don't
that's
think
my
it'll be a
guess.
billion yet, but it'll be closer to a billion.
Value of $1915 today. Let's
Okay, 300. 300,000. Or wait,
50,000. What?
50
no,
million.
50 million.
300 million.
How much was
Please
it?
enter
50?
a number. So I gave you a number. 50. Yeah, $50 million in damage.
You have 50,000. You need
50
more
million.
300 million.
There we go. 1 billion.
Oh, it'll be over a billion.
1 billion.
Ah!
557 million.
Oh, that's
100.
a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
1,557,100. No, wait. $1,557,128,712.87 today.
I don't
Holy
think even
shit.
Katrina did $1.5 billion in
No.
damage.
I don't think so. So
Wow.
$1.5 billion.
I was
1.5
keeping it
That's
under
billion.
a
nuts.
billion, but man, were we wrong.
Wow. Wow. What else do we got?
1915 mob lynches Jewish businessman Leo Frank in Cobb County. That's not cool.
It continues on. Move to the next page.
Oh, Georgia. Oh, okay. So, there's a comma there.
Yeah.
Sorry. In Cobb County, Georgia, after death sentence for murder of a 13-year-old girl commuted to life.
So
Wait,
the Jewish businessman Leo Frank murdered a 13-year-old. Is that what it said? And
Mob lynches, it says.
And then,
a mob.
okay.
Yeah, well,
Businessman.
but why? I think it's explaining why. After death sentence for murder of 13-year-old girl was commuted to
Yeah,
life.
Why is
commuted.
I
Yeah.
hate how they're
And
wording this.
So
When they commuted it, okay.
so
It
he
should
killed
be-
somebody and then they commuted
Leo,
it. Go
I
ahead,
don't
King.
know. It's worded all wrong, man.
It is.
But go ahead.
But am I right in my consensus? Like he killed somebody
Yeah.
and then he
Got the death sentence.
He got, but then they commuted it to life. So they're like, oh no, our tax dollars ain't gonna keep this piece of shit alive, you know. And
So who did they kill then? When
the Jewish businessman. So a mob lynches Jewish businessman Leo Frank. So a mob lynched
Leo
him
Frank got lynched.
because he killed a 13-year-old girl, and he got sentenced to death. But then they commuted his sentence to life in prison rather than death. So then the mob went and just killed him anyway.
So they went into the jail. And
the
killed
mob
him?
got a
I don't
hold
know
of him
what they
before
did.
the prison system could.
Yeah, it's not written really well because they had to go in the jail and kill him because he's got
Yeah.
to be in jail.
Or
It's not, yeah.
or he could have been in transit or something. I'm not
Well,
sure.
he's already in for the death sentence and they commuted it, so he had to be in there, I would think. Anyways, it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. 1917.
1917, Italy declares war on Turkey. They must have been hungry.
I think you got the wrong country there. Well, I mean, like, you know, we could get the Sandwich Islands involved. You know? Turkey sandwich.
Oh, boy.
Turkey sandwich.
Yeah. But yeah, that has to be during the First World War, you know?
It's kind of late, though, isn't it?
Actually, no, Italy,
Whoa.
Italy
Well,
once again,
really?
like we spoke about this, during both the First and Second World Wars, Italy switched sides. So this must be when they switched sides.
and then they...
And then-
Uh,
Yeah, on Turkey.
Okay.
Because Italy was part of the Central Powers, and then it joins the Allies.
Right.
And then later on, they were part of the Axis, and then they joined the Allies again. So,
Okay.
and then we make fun of France for being surrender monkeys. So, okay, because that makes sense. What else do we got? 1918?
1918, Samuel Rill buys Man of War for $5,000.
I think Man o' War was a horse.
Yes.
So I think we looked this up
Man
last
of
year.
War is definitely a horse. Man
Okay.
of War, yeah, is a horse.
Well, Man o' War is a horse. Man of War is a
And
type
a band.
of ship. So, but yeah. 1920 here, and the New York Yankees canceled their game with Cleveland Indians in memory of Ray Chapman, who died after having been hit by a pitch the previous day. Yeah, we spoke about that.
Must have got mean.
Yeah, we didn't speak about that, but I remember researching writing for yesterday's show, which we unfortunately did not do. But yeah, in MLB's, I believe, one and only instance of a death on the field, this guy got hit and died by a baseball. So, yeah. What do we got here in 1933?
Give me a minute here.
All right. MLB player Lou Gehrig played a record 1,308th consecutive game. Consecutive. You know, didn't take a break.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, every game.
1,308th. Wow.
It's a bunch.
Yeah, that's incredible. 1936, an unemployed worker, Niels B. Rude, in Madison, Wisconsin, received the first unemployment benefit check paid under a state law for $15. Whoopee! But that must have been some substantial in 1936. But hey, the first unemployment check.
Yeah.
And that's when everything went to shit. We'll pay you to not work, because that makes sense. You know?
Well, in theory, they're paying you while you look for work. That's the theory.
Well, a lot of people don't look for work.
Well, that's the reality.
They-
We're talking theory and reality here.
You see, like, you know, they got to restructure that whole thing. They got to pay you based off of how much jobs you've looked at. You should not get a flat rate and then, look for like 2 or 3 jobs a month. No, you should only be getting paid by how many jobs you've proven that you've looked for.
Yeah, but,
You know?
I've had people come into my business. They're not looking for a job. They're looking for you to sign that they look for a job at your business. Can
Yeah.
you just sign this for me? You know, that I came in here and looked for a job.
You know
That's
what I
all
would
they're
do? I
interested
would hire him. Like, right there on the spot. I'd be like, you know what? Now you have a job. You know, if you want to be lazy, fuck you. I'm going to force you to not be lazy. Now you have a
And
job.
now I got a big problem on my hands that I'm paying. Are you kidding me? Why would I want that?
You know, we all got to do our part to get society back to where it belongs, and some people got to sacrifice a little bit more than others, unfortunately. But you know, as soon as this crap starts, I mean, you know, like, things need to be done. You know, laziness needs to be stamped out because all of this stuff comes from taxpayers. Why the hell should I go and bust my ass to
But
pay
then
taxes?
the way the system works. Okay, I hire him, I bring him on. He will be there for whatever the minimum required is.
Yeah.
Say a week, a month, 2 months, whatever it is. Then he'll go back and get unemployment on a new clock.
Things-
So I mean, you know, if you want to scam the system, you can scam the system, and that's the fallacy of our system.
Yeah.
It can be scammed
yeah.
quite easily.
Oh yeah. Yeah. 1938, we have the first aircraft owned by U.S. Forest Service in Oakland. So like to patrol, look for fires and anything like that, So
Yeah.
that's pretty interesting. That makes sense. The Forest Service owning a fleet of aircraft.
Oh, absolutely.
1939, the musical film Wizard of Oz, starring Judy Garland, Ray Bolger, Burt Lahar, Jack Haley, and Margaret Hamilton, opened at Lowe's Capitol Theater in New York City. We spoke about its premiere a couple days ago at the what's it called? Chinese theater?
Yeah. Grauman's?
Grauman's, thank you. Yeah. Good Sir King, if you are back, you want to take 1940s? I guess he's not
I don't think
back.
he's back yet.
We have Adolf Hitler ordered a total blockade of Great Britain. So.
Yeah.
Yep. Also in 1940, FDR and Canadian Prime Minister William M. King agreed to a mutual defense abroad and to establish the Permanent Joint Board of Defense in the Ogdensburg Agreement. I believe this is a predecessor to NORAD.
Never heard of Ogenberg. How's it pronounced?
Ogdensburg?
Yeah.
Ogdensburg?
Never heard of it. Huh.
Neither have I. 1942, Task Force 17 left Pearl Harbor under Admiral George Murray on the USS Hornet. We all know about the Hornet. The Hornet is the one that transported the nuclear bomb, right?
Oh, is that right? See, I didn't know that.
I'm not sure. The USS Hornet. Oh, CV. It's a carrier vessel, so never mind. It's not. The Hornet's the one that got sunk, I think. Yeah, Happy Hornet on a fate. Yeah, sunk in the Battle of Santa Cruz Islands, October 27th, 1942. So it wouldn't last much longer, another couple of months. But yeah, I remember the Hornet because when we went to the Midway down in San Diego, they had that one area, the movie exhibition about the Hornet that got sunk.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Okay.
In the ship. But yeah, no, that was not. Hold on a second. The ship that transported the bomb. Let's see here. It was the Indianapolis. And do you know what the Indianapolis is even more famous for?
What?
The massive shark attack thing that inspired Jaws.
What?
Yeah.
How did that inspire it?
Fate of the Indianapolis. I believe this is the same one. USS Indianapolis. Here we go. Construction. Interwarp here. World War, New Guinea, Canada, Australia, operations. Yeah, 44. Trying to find it.
Well, generally, how did whatever ship inspired that movie?
Well, it got sunk. I'm not sure if it got hit by boats or torpedo or what, but it sunk, and the water was heavily shark infested, and the majority of all the survivors, got eaten by sharks and everything. There was only like a handful of survivors left. But yeah, I believe it was the Indianapolis that transported the bombs, to be dropped, and then on its way back, it got hit or something and it sunk. But all the shark attacks and everything.
That brings me to the next question: Where did they load the planes up to? The atomic bombs up to drop? Where did they load them up at? Where did they?
One of the islands. One of the islands. Yeah. Well, let me look it up here. What island staged nuclear bomb? Castle Bravo. No, it's Castle Bravo. It's something else. 1945. Atomic bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Let's see here. Allies, yada yada. It's somewhere in here. But one of the islands, about the whole island hopping campaign and everything. Yeah. They delivered it to one of the islands, loaded it up there, and then flew it over.
Okay.
It was a
That's curious. You know so much about this, but I've never heard of where they were actually loaded up and flew from. And obviously back.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is, of course, Little Boy and Fat Man. The two atomic bombs. Were
Hiroshima
designed.
And Nagasaki.
Yeah. Well, that's where they ended up.
Yeah.
They were built. Out in. Los Alamos in New Mexico, transported by truck all the way to the coast of California, loaded up onto
truck
that
or train?
Truck.
Okay.
Well, maybe train. I'm not sure. I guess they transported it from truck from there to a train station. I'm not sure.
Train would be safer, I would think, but
you'd think, but I don't know. I don't know the exact. But then from there,
someday we'll have to look up the route of where these went from from their inception
Yeah.
to the island.
Yeah.
Okay, someday we'll have to do that. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Actually, I can look it up right now. If
Oh, we got a lot to cover.
Well, if King is back to take this other 1940. Oh, okay.
Hey, where we at?
FDR. Oh, we already got that one. 1942. We got that one too. Transport 1942. Sorry.
1942, transport number 20 departs with French Jews to the Nazi Germany. Oof. Not a
Yikes.
transport vessel. You want to be a 1942 U.S. 8th Air Force bomber staged first independent raid on Europe, attack Rouen, France.
First raid then, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, well, like 1942, we are like pretty much mopping up Africa, and then
Well, December 7th, 1941 is when we got into the war, obviously.
well, yeah, but like we had to do
So,
the
I mean,
whole Africa
yeah.
campaign and everything,
So
and then
it
from
was-
Africa we invaded Sicily and then Italy, and
So
then
this is only like 8 months later, 9 months later.
roughly, well, yeah,
9
yeah,
months later.
yeah, yeah.
What?
We got another 43. Well, I actually got a couple of them.
1943, 498 British bombers attack Peenemünde, development base for the V weapons.
So like the V1, the V2,
Yeah.
And the Wunderwaffen or something like it's in German. It stands for Wonder Weapon, Wunder weapons or something. Wunderwaffen.
I believe you're right, Wunderwaffen, something like that.
Under weapon.
Yeah. You got another airplane one here.
1943, U.S. 8th Air Forces lose 60 B-17s during attack on Schweinfurt and Regensburg.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Wow. Like,
That's a bunch.
yeah. I mean, like, what was the life expectancy of these bomber crews? Like 3 missions or something? Like,
yeah, really.
like,
I'll tell you what, some brave men.
I mean, when a job needs to get doing, you got to do it. Like, so. Umas 43.
1943, U.S. General George S. Patton enters Messina, completing the Allied conquest of Sicily.
Yep, and that pissed Montgomery off to no end.
Yeah, it did.
Like he literally, like there's a whole, it was in the movie, but this was an actual like thing. Like Montgomery was protesting that not only did the U.S. do the route that he wanted to, but they beat him because he was yeah, there was going to be resistance and everything. It wasn't going to be a straight shot, but for the most part he just wanted to walk in the field and he wanted the U.S. soldiers to take all the damage.
Yeah.
Well, we went in there, we provided the brunt, we took all the damage, and we beat him too there. F you, Montgomery, you useless sack of crap.
And they couldn't figure out how Patton got there so fast.
Because he's
Couldn't
Patton.
figure it out. I know, he's crazy.
But then, like as I said, Montgomery, was protesting it. So Patton was like, "What do you want me to do? Give it back? Like, shut your mouth. Like, we're supposed to be allies, you maniac."
I think one of the greatest things about Patton and also his downfall was he got the most out of any army that any general could.
Oh yeah, old blood and guts.
Yeah.
I mean, like he pushed.
And he was right there with him. He didn't say, "Go do it and let me know how it goes." He was right there with him.
Yeah, well, like there's this one scene once again, in the Patton movie. It's like, "Oh, you got 12 hours, to do this, or I'll fire you too."
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. 1945, Sukarno and Muhammad Hatta declared Indonesia, which was the Dutch East Indies, independent from the Netherlands. All right.
Yeah.
1946, George Orwell published Animal Farm in the United States, and that was like a whole warning against communism and all that stuff.
Great book.
Yeah.
And here it is.
Yeah. We didn't listen. 1947. What?
No, I'm just laughing.
1947, the Radcliffe Line, the border between Union of India and Dominion of Pakistan, was revealed. So there's a border, between Pakistan and India. Oh. What do we got here in 1950?
1950, Indonesia gains independence from Neverland.
There you go.
'All right.
Yeah.
1950, Indonesia gains independence from Neverland. Yeah. 1951,
1952, Fallout, first used. New York Times.
So the term fallout, so like like nuclear fallout and all
Yeah.
that stuff. The actual
Oh,
term.
used in New York Times.
So
Okay.
this is the first time the term fallout,
Yeah.
to be used to describe post-nuclear, exchange, was
And let me
used.
tell you, when I was a kid, the old duck and cover, like that was actually going to help you.
Duck and
Fallout
cover.
was
Yeah, we were
main
still
word
doing
used.
that. I
Yeah.
remember it didn't
Nuclear
last too
fallout.
long, but yeah, we did practice getting under our desk.
Oh yeah, like that's going to save you. Get down, no problem.
Yeah,
Oh, dude, like the Iron
the
Giant.
desk.
Like,
Everybody knows the desks are indestructible. There you go, duck and
Yeah.
cover.
yeah, let me play this really quick.
Time to duck and cover, the bombs are
Yeah,
coming
this,
down.
they made it sound like
Radiation shower will pour throughout your town. Hands over your head.
Oh, this is not the actual.
That sounds a lot
No,
like
no.
the introduction
It's
to.
the other one. It's the second one, I think.
I can't think of his name.
That one.
Who's the guy
I'm pretty
in
sure it's
the
that one.
coonskin cat?
I don't know
One of our folklore heroes.
Davy
Davy Crockett.
Davy
That
Crockett.
sounds like the beginning of the Davy Crockett show. When I
Davy
think
Crockett.
Yeah,
the
sounds a lot
greatest
like the
pioneer.
tune.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the actual song from it, but like this is a clip of that.
Yeah,
But this
Duck
was
and
the
Cover.
mentality. Look how ridiculous this
Hands
is.
over your head, deep low to the ground. Time to duck and cover, the bombs are coming down.
Saved by the desk.
Wow.
Now,
Hallelujah.
now it doesn't show.
It's a miracle.
It doesn't show, but like after that, they have like the desk is pristine, and then the ground
Yeah.
underneath it is great, but the rest of the ground it forms into this
Everything
huge
else
crater.
decimated.
Like there's a crater 50
But the
feet
desk
deep,
can
but the
hurt.
desk somehow is like greater strong than a nuclear explosion. Actually,
Why don't we just build all our houses out of desks?
Yeah,
I know,
there you
right?
go.
oh, here it is. So this is the actual clip, like when they're in school. So yeah, let me play this here.
But how does one survive an atomic attack?
Hey, did you hear about craziness?
The Iron Giant.
He says
Yeah.
Oh, this is right there.
Yeah.
see
Iron
do
Giant.
any of those things.
So
What would
like,
you know about
they're playing the
holding
stupid,
them? Hold on.
propaganda stuff in the
Don't
background.
let
You
me
can
come
see.
over there.
Hands over your
There you
head,
go. Watch this.
to the ground. Time to duck and cover, the bombs are coming down. Duck and cover.
Yeah. Okay. The entire world is destroyed, but that desk in the land underneath it is pristine because that makes sense.
Indestructible.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, now, your mom, here we go.
Yeah, she saw the mushrooms. She was there.
She lived in Las Vegas. Yeah, they sit out on their front porch and watch the things in the big cloud of mushroom.
Yeah.
The only thing that saved them is that all the currents took it to Utah.
Yeah, yeah.
Killed them.
She was upwind of
Yeah.
it. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what else do we got here? 1953? Ooh.
1953, addiction. First meeting of Narcotics Anonymous in Southern California.
Ah, of course, California.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. You want to take 56 and 57? I know they're a little long, but
There's 256, but okay.
okay.
1956, Federal Constitution Court bans the Communist Party of Germany, KPD, in the West Germany.
one of the greatest decisions Germany ever made. You know?
Ban.
Ban. You know?
Yeah.
Just, you want to be communist? Go to a communist state. Don't try to convert us. Like,
Right.
we're
Go
what we
to
are,
China.
they're what they are. If you want
They
to
love
follow a certain
communism.
thing, go over there. You think communism is so great? Go to North Korea, and then or ask what's her face, that dumb idiot who went over there with weed, and then then we traded her for the Merchant of Death and everything. Should have
Yeah.
left her ass over there. Rot. Rot in your own squalor.
She was Gaynor. Yeah.
Garner.
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 Yeah, whatever.
Brittany Garner.
Brittany Garner. She was on our U.S. Olympic team.
Well, you mean he, right? Like
She.
it was a trans or right?
No, I believe she's a full woman. I'm not
I
sure.
don't know anymore. Like
I don't.
I don't
I
care.
I would love to have her voice. I'm just saying that.
Huh. Anyway, Uno Mas 56.
Anyways, just one more
Oh,
thing
yeah.
on Garner.
Ugh.
Yeah, obviously the women won the gold medal, so they play the national anthem. She was in tears because now she understood what it meant.
Yeah.
She used to kneel for it.
Yeah.
Now she's in tears and wrapped in a flag, and she realizes
Yeah.
how good she has it after being in a Russian jail
Well,
and railroaded.
yeah.
Yeah,
No.
but I don't know. She's got a long ways to making up.
Oh, I'm not defending her in any way.
Well, I'm just saying, yeah, that's good. It's good. It's good. She's turning around, but she has a lot to make
And
up
who
for.
knows
She
how,
would just
you know, you're up
Trash.
in the moment and
America's
you realize
trash.
what you have
America's
for a moment.
trash.
That's all that means.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully she continues, you know, to
Oh, I do too.
realize her mistake.
Yeah. What else do we got here?
1956, one of the largest demonstrations in South Africa's history. 20,000 women marched to Pretoria's Union buildings to present petition making carrying of passes by women to the Prime Minister. What does that mean?
Against carrying of passes by women.
To present petition against carrying of passes. What's a pass? What's a pass? By women to Prime
I
Minister.
don't know what that means.
I don't know. Like Women's March, South Africa.
South Africa, okay.
Okay.
She
The
needed a
marchers,
permit or something.
the marchers' aims were to protest the introduction of the apartheid pass laws for black women in 1952 and the presentation of a petition to the then Prime Minister. So it was like legal documents or something for specifically black women. That, you know, it doesn't say that here, which is weird. You know, like.
So is this to get rid of the paper checks?
I think so. Like.
Lay out your papers.
Let me read the background here. The organization behind the march was Federation of South African Women, an anti-apartheid organization for women of various groups, including the ANC Women's League, with the aim of strengthening female voice in the movement. They contributed to the Congress of the People in '55, where the Freedom Charter was drawn up, by submitting a document called What Women Demand, which addressed needs such as child care provisions, housing, education, equal pay, and equal rights with men in regard to property, marriage, and guardianship of children. By 1956, their focus was shifted towards a protest concerning the introduction of passes for black women. Now, what is,
you had to get a pass to get through.
so what is this pass here? Pass.
So
So
basically,
Paper
it's
check.
anti-apartheid.
Yeah.
It says it right in the first sentence.
It says-
anti-apartheid.
It says here in South Africa under apartheid and Southwest Africa, which is now Namibia, pass laws served as an internal passport system designed to racially segregate the population.
Yeah, keep you in
restrict
your place.
Yeah, okay. So
In other words, you can get a pass to go work as a maid, and then you got to go home.
yeah. Wow. In a black country, in a black continent, blacks have to have rights to do their own thing. Like they always have rights. They're the natural
Everybody,
people.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
everybody has rights, of course, but especially the indigenous.
Of course.
You know?
And in this case, the whites came in and took it all away because they
Yeah.
had the bigger guns.
Yeah.
Obviously, didn't have the population,
Yeah.
but a small fraction of the population took over for the whole.
Yeah.
And that was why apartheid had to be disbanded at some point.
Yep.
Took a while,
Yep.
quite a while.
1957, baseball player Richie Ashburn fouled and hit fan Alice Roth twice in the same game at bat playing for the Philadelphia Phillies. The first hit breaks her nose, and the second one hits her while she was on the stretcher.
Oh my God!
Oh my God! She's trying to leave, and you hit her again. This
With
poor
a foul ball.
this poor woman is just like.
She's off the side. Keep playing.
Well,
What are the odds, though?
apparently,
You have no control over a foul ball.
or do you?
Not really. You just didn't hit it right, so you barely missed, and it was foul or tipped or whatever.
But to hit it twice in the same game, that's
Same,
ridiculous.
forget the same game. They hadn't even hauled her off.
I know. Like
They broke her nose on the first one.
they hit her again. She's like, "What are you doing? I'm leaving. Leave me alone." Like. 1958, the world's first moon probe, US's Thor Able, explodes at T plus 77 seconds, so it didn't even get off.
The ground.
I don't think so. Or I guess T plus is after, because T minus is launching. So,
Oh, that's
so I
true.
guess this is
Yeah, good point.
This
Good
is 77 seconds after launch, so
Yeah.
a minute and 13 seconds in the air, and it blew
into
up.
the launch. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you go a long ways in a minute.
Oh yeah.
Seconds.
Oh yeah. 1959, we have
Even.
the.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you.
No, I was going to say even in '58, still
Yeah.
you still a long distance.
Oh yeah. 1959, a 7.1 quake struck Yellowstone National Park. Ooh, that's
Ooh,
scary.
that's not good.
That was before we knew about that being a caldera. and all that
no.
stuff.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was that recent incident of that whole geyser blowing up and everything
Yeah,
like, right
right.
away. You know. And then, of course, they're saying, "Oh, this is no relation to, you know, the volcano." Of course, they're gonna say that. They don't want people to panic. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with it. Like they're literally gonna feed us bullshit until we're on fire.
Someday
you
that's
know?
gonna blow. It's huge.
Yeah. And 1959 is USSR and Iraq signed contract for building Iraqi nuclear reactor. That's scary. So, yeah. What do we got here in 1960?
1960, Francis Gary Powers, U-2 spy trial opens in Moscow.
Yeah, he was on a U-2 spy plane and he got shot down, and they got him and collected him and put him on trial.
We got cocky. We thought we'd fly it really high because U-2 that was designed to, I don't know, fly right on the edge of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
We didn't think, so we were doing it just willingly. We didn't,
didn't think they could touch us.
Shoot anything down that high.
But
boy, were they wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting...
They could and did.
Yeah. What's really interesting, if this is the same guy I'm thinking, this guy, he's a spy plane, pilot. He's like the top of the top of the top.
Yeah.
But the way he died, helicopter crash over LA.
Yeah.
Like,
well, he had a cyanide pill with him that he was supposed to swallow if he got hit, and he didn't. So that was kind of his black eye. But hey, what the hell? You want me to commit Harry Carey if the plane goes down?
But see,
you told me they couldn't hit me.
But that's what I'm saying. He died in a helicopter crash. I think he
much
was
later.
killed.
Yeah. Oh, who knows? Yeah.
No, 1977.
Yeah.
So this was 17 years. Yeah, at the age of 47. So you're telling me this guy, who was like one of the best pilots in all time, like trusted with a spy plane and put on these missions.
Well, he's in an elite category of pilots. Let's put it that way.
And then he would die in a helicopter crash. I find that very hard to believe.
Well, you don't even know if he was piloting. I mean,
he was. No, he was piloting it.
I don't know.
No, I know. I know this for a fact.
I mean, I don't know if they did it on purpose 17 years later.
Right here, no. 1977, 801, former CIA Lockheed U-2 pilot Francis Gary Powers crashes the news helicopter he was flying in Los Angeles, killing himself and a cameraman. A news helicopter. He's not doing some kind of crazy mission.
Yeah, I understand that, but I don't know if it's on purpose or there was a mechanical failure. I don't know. It seems awful weird they'd wait 17 years.
Well, maybe he was like doing other things. I don't know. Like,
anyway, it's all conjecture on our part. As far as that goes, we know he.
Well, me with my conspiracy brain. I always look at what's not seen. So.
Yeah.
What do we got? What else do we got here? 1960, Gabon gained independence from France. This is their national day. All right. And Indonesia dropped diplomatic relations with the Netherlands. Okay. 1961, Kennedy administration established Alliance for Progress.
All right. What that was.
Let's look it up here. Actually, I'll just look up the entire article.
Is that like getting us to the moon when he said that? Is that the Alliance of Progress?
Alliance for Progress. Let's see here.
Oh, Alliance.
Alliance.
Okay, I thought you said Lines.
No. It was an initiative launched by Kennedy that aimed to establish economic cooperation between the U.S. and Latin America. Okay. So.
Alliance is far less interesting.
Alliance.
Yeah.
Yes. 1962, East German border guards shot and killed Peter Fetscher at the age of 18, who was attempting to cross the Berlin Wall into the western sector.
Oh, man.
Shoot to kill. So.
That was before the wall actually went up. Well, I mean, it was up, but some of it was fences at the time. I mean, they really went back and boarded up. There's a picture of that one woman trying to get through the fence, barbed wire fence, and she gets smacked, gets under it, and runs on, and gets out. That was when they first did it.
Yeah. 1963, Jim Hickman became the first New York Met to hit for the cycle.
And you know what that is.
The line?
Do you know what the cycle is? This is a test.
Single, double, triple home run?
You got it.
Oh.
You got it. You hit all four in one game. 4 for 4. Did one of each.
I'm learning.
Yeah, I'm so proud of you. Way to go. We're going to get you a baseball glove. Next year, maybe a ball to go with it.
I already have two.
In your case, it's too many because you can't catch one, let alone two.
That joke was foul.
Oh, there you go.
1963, Orioles Dick Hall. Speaking of Dick Hall?
Only you would have that come up next.
What is that, the Hall of Fame for penises? Dick Hall. A Hall of Dicks. I don't know. Retired as 28th consecutive player in relief. Relief in Dick Hall. Oh my God.
Only you could turn something south in such a hurry.
Well, speaking of South.
I know.
King, take 64 before I continue. Please shut me up.
1964, Boycott scores his first Test cricket century, 113 versus Ost at the Oval.
I didn't mean to hit your face.
Cricket. Yeah, you had to go to cricket next, didn't
Yeah.
you? One way to shut me up.
Yeah.
1969, Hurricane Camille strikes U.S. coastline and kills 259 people, mainly in Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana.
Sounds
Dang.
like tea, Camille. It's not quite chamomile.
Yeah.
Camille.
Camille,
Camille Cabello?
Tea hit us hard.
Yeah.
1969, Woodstock Festival closes with Jimi Hendrix Band of Gypsy as final act, taking the stage at 9 a.m. on the 18th. Jeez, that's an early show. Other performers included Joe Cocker, Country Joe McDonald, and The Fish, the band CSNNY, and Shanana.
When I get out of that, we used to be just Country Joe and the Fish. I didn't know they intersected McDonald, which was the lead guy, Country Joe. It was just Country Joe and the Fish.
Well, maybe...
So many great bands there.
Yeah. 1970, we have Venera 7 of the U.S. It was the first soft landing on Venus, or to become the first soft landing on Venus. It was launched. And, you know what a soft landing is, right? Instead of, it's
land.
Yeah. 1973, we have Leo Trevino's first hole-in-one.
Oh, yeah, golfer.
Okay. And actually, let me edit that here really quick because American golfer Lee Trevino hit his first hole-in-one. So, a little bit more meat to that article there. 1973 as well. Willie Mays hit his 660th and last home run off of Don Goulette of Cincinnati.
I didn't realize he played that long, but yeah.
Hey, you couldn't, put in 6 more home runs, just to be known as the most evil baseball player? Come on. 666?
Oh, okay.
660th?
Went over my head for a moment.
Yeah. 1976, an earthquake and tsunami in the Philippines killed up to 8,000.
Ooh.
Wow. Jeez.
Tsunamis are so devastating.
Oh, man. 76 as well, we have a big win for Wisconsin at the Oval. Michael Holding, 14 for 149 for match. Well, I guess that's not Wisconsin. That's something else because that sounds like cricket. 14 and 149 at the Oval. Nothing of this sounds anything other than cricket.
It's probably cricket because I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Cricket.
1977, we have Russian nuclear sub Arctica was the first to the North Pole. So I guess the first sub.
Didn't know that.
What a name!
They
Arctica.
go under it.
No, not under it. That was
How else do you get there in a submarine? You're not going to paddle on hard ice.
Well, I guess you're right. They did go under it. I was thinking about the first, navigation completely under it, and that was like.
I thought that was American sub.
Yes, that's a Nautilus or something. Probably not the Nautilus.
I don't know what it was.
But I guess it's the first sub to the North Pole, but not the first one to fully go under the entire ice shelf.
I don't know.
So,
got to be under it, though. That's all I know.
Yeah, once again, the Ruskies, the Soviets, the Communists defeating us, all over the place. 1979, Monty Python's Life of Brian, directed by Terry Jones, starring Graham Chapman, Michael Palin, and John Cleese, funded by George Harrison's Handmade Films, premiered in the U.S. theaters.
Monty Python.
Yeah. What do we got here in 1980?
1980, first compact disc CDs released in the public in Germany.
Ooh, compact disc, huh?
Those Germans always make good stuff.
Yeah.
But
a lot better than an 8-track.
Yeah. But that was 1982. What do we have in 1980?
1980. Azaria Chamberlain disappears, likely taken by Dingo. leading to what is the most publicized trial in Australian history.
Dingo ate my baby.
Bingo ate my baby.
Yeah. Yeah, no, dingoes, they will come and eat your children, like,
I've never heard that before.
Oh yeah. No, like they have so much problems with wildlife. I mean, I've talked to you about the emu
that I
war,
know.
drop
I didn't know
bears.
what eating babies though.
Oh, dingoes, yeah, no, they'll come after your infants immediately. Like, you gotta be on guard constantly. Like, I don't know how people survive in Australia. Literally every animal is trying to eat you at all times. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
We have another 82 here.
LA Dodgers beat Chicago Cubs 6-5 in 21 innings. Game completed 8 out of 18.
So this started on the 17th and ended on the 18th. It went beyond midnight.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yikes.
Yes.
They do have a curfew.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have to finish it the next day.
Yeah. Well, in 21 innings, so you got 3 7-inning stretches, 7, 14, 21.
Oh, I would have.
I can't imagine coming back for a second
extra
day.
innings, so there's more baseball.
Ah.
I had 8 hours of baseball yesterday. I'm done. That's good. I don't care what the Indian is.
If you want to be in hog heaven, go to a doubleheader. Woohoo!
Oh my god.
Dude, I'm the polar opposite. My absolute my absolute favorite baseball game is the one that was like, what was it? 71 minutes or something. Remember that, King? Like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like.
I thought you were gonna say your favorite.
I could sit down for an
is the one
hour.
that got rained out.
Oh. Huh. What do you say, King? I'm sorry.
So I could sit down for an hour.
Yeah.
But yeah.
85.
1,400 meat packers walk off the job at Geo and Hamel and Company plant,
Oh, that's not
which
good.
Tyson should do today,
Yeah.
but won't.
Yeah, well, Tyson just fired a bunch of people and brought in a bunch of, asylum seekers, as they like to call them. You don't remember this?
Illegal aliens.
Like Tyson, they fired literally thousands of people, like U.S. citizens who
Yeah.
work for Tyson, the chicken company.
Yeah, I got you. I know what Tyson did.
And then they brought in a bunch of these illegal immigrants, like all these people who are coming here illegally, in droves, the asylum seekers, as the system likes to call them. And then
And is this recent or is this what
was
you're
a couple
talking
months
about?
ago. No, this
Oh,
was a couple
okay.
months ago. It is technically recent. But no, they fired a whole, thousands of U.S. citizens and brought in all
Yeah.
these illegals, pay them less, and have them work for more, and they're not even native, to this country.
That doesn't
There's
sound right.
a-
Doesn't
No,
sound
they
right. They'd
did
ever
it.
get away with that.
They did.
They did it down here in Polk County. They're being sued for it.
Well, they gotta be sued.
Polk
for it.
Polk County,
You can't
Iowa.
just-
They're trying to do it.
You have to have reasonable cause to fire people, and a reasonable cause is not getting cheaper labor.
Right here, Tyson Foods speaks out on hiring migrant workers over Americans.
That's
So,
hiring.
yes.
Now, that's
no,
also
they
sad.
fired. No,
But
they
firing's a different thing than hiring.
No, Dad, I'm telling you, they fired thousands of people,
Yeah.
I
and
got
then
you.
they
I
bring
fired.
got what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine how they got away with it.
because it's
Because they should be sued.
but
should be
it's
sued.
going along with the
Justifiably.
system. I'm not saying you're wrong.
I haven't heard of it, and I'm questioning everything.
Exactly, they don't want you to
Right.
hear of it. Because you're not online, you're not digging.
No,
as far
you're
as
right.
I know, you probably are, but not
no,
as much
I'm
as
not.
I am.
No, not
You
at
know?
all. Very little.
Tyson Foods did not say it wants to hire 42,000 quote unquote illegal workers. 42,000. Like, this is a serious
Wait,
problem.
but read the first of it. Tyson's Food did not say it wants to.
And this is from Reuters. Look at the source.
I'm just reading the words. That's all I'm reading.
Fact
the words.
check. Look at that. Here we go. Fact check. And this is, of course, the internet is going to cover, because this is all part of the status quo.
The left internet is definitely going to
Yeah.
gin it up to what are they doing, not to try to cover up Tyson.
No.
It's the last thing the left's going to do.
No. They're going to cover up Tyson because they're hiring the right people, in their eyes.
Yep.
No.
They'll probably get subsidies and
Okay.
shit from the government for doing it too.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, what do we got here in 1986?
I'm sorry. I don't know that. I know
Oh, go ahead.
there's one place that was offering $10. You get subsidies, right, for hiring these legal people, and you can get a $10 a month insurance, and real good insurance.
Huh.
If it's through government subsidies for hiring, illegal people.
Huh.
I can't remember which business was doing it, but yeah,
This
that's
is
gonna
something
start
that
to
needs
be
to
a
be
thing.
looked into, most definitely.
I told you, man. Well, what I've been saying.
Yeah.
All this woke stuff's about to go, and everything is gonna become about migrants and giving them everything that we're Americans aren't allowed to have.
Well,
I've been saying this for last 2 years.
That's been like the thing over here in California. Like the freaking illegals for years have had voting rights. They get free this, free that. All of our taxpayer dollars. They literally have more rights than I do here.
Yep.
Like literally.
I'm not going to argue a bit about what you're
Literally.
talking about is absolutely happening, and they're trying to force it. That I get. The Tyson thing I've never heard of, and that sounds like they
You gotta
should
look
the
into
shit
it.
out of them. But I'm not saying it's not doing, and you guys are 100% correct. I'll give you one experience, and this goes back at least maybe 30 years. On a very small scale, California came to small business, which I was a part of, and was giving us incentives to pay us money. They would pay a percentage of the person's employee that you're employing for people that are out of jail, convicted felons or whatever. They're trying to give them a lift up. We were too small and it didn't apply to us. But I can't argue that part. But what we're talking about is a whole different thing. Way out of bounds.
Now, interesting that you should say that, because my very first
programs for prisoners, it's totally different.
Yeah, but they're still American
They're
citizens,
Americans.
and they're trying to get them back into the
workforce into being
to support themselves, get them a real life,
a contributing
and not go
member
back
of
to
society.
Crime.
Yeah.
Not go back to
Now
crime.
it's interesting
So I
that you
get
should say that, because my very first job at Linens and Things, not Linens and Things, Linens and Things?
No,
no,
you're up here.
no.
You're up here at what do you call it? Whatever.
Home Goods.
Home Goods, yeah.
Now, some of including my direct supervisor, they were people in that same program. They were out of prison.
Okay, there you go.
So the majority, and that's that's why I was a fish out of water. The majority, if not all, I was the only non-convict who was working in that building.
Not the only.
Well, outside of the freaking the manager or whatever, but the people on the floor, I was the only one who was not a former convict.
I love your story, and I'm going to tell it really quickly. Of going up in this one girl was Hispanic, obviously fluent in English and Spanish, and you're talking to her. I know some Spanish. She goes, "Give me one word." One word. What was that word?
Apúrate.
Get your ass back to work. Work faster.
No, that was when I was talking to my supervisor working at Kohl's.
I love that.
When I was working at Kohl's, I was, my supervisor was Hispanic and everything, and we were talking about all that stuff. It's like, oh, give me one word in Spanish. Apúrate, apúrate. She just lost it.
I love it. Perfect answer.
Yeah. Anyway, 1986 here, the bronze pig statue unveiled at Pike Place Market in Seattle. And, I've been there. Like, Pike Place, bronze pig.
I'd love to go up there just because it's there.
Yeah.
And I haven't been up to Seattle in so many years.
Yeah. Well, this guy here.
It's got to be 50 years or more.
This statue here, the bronze pig.
In fact, I got to go up to Seattle again just for hee-haws.
Not anytime soon.
Yeah. Still a cool place. People are screwy, but that's the biggest. I'd love to live in the Seattle area, Washington area. It's too screwy. I love the Northwest.
Yeah.
I love the Northwest. It's great.
I do too. Like
but
that
it's
is
screwy as hell.
Like I love the cold. I love the dark. I love the rain. I love the green. The Pacific Northwest is AO town. But the politics there is not AO town.
It's California in spades. No one talks about them, but it's California in spades.
Yeah.
It's a nuts city.
1986 as well, rioting at the DMC concert at Long Beach, California Convention Center. 40 people were injured. DMC concerts. Yeah, that's a band, right? The DMC?
Yes, I believe so.
Run DMC? What is it?
Run DMC.
Yeah. 87, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed 2,700 above 2,700 for the first time. 2,700.57. All right.
This is 80 what?
87.
Look it up what it closed today. Just for hee-haws, you'll see the difference.
What did Dow Jones, right?
Yeah.
Industrial average closed today. Yesterday. Dow Jones. Okay, let's see here if it'll tell us. 40,000. Wow. Wow.
Oh my God.
There you go.
Wow. That's not.
Thank you, inflation.
That's scary. Jeez. 88, LIRR, whatever that is, said Penn Station will get air conditioning in 1991. They didn't have air conditioning until 91?
1991.
Pennsylvania
Oh my
Station,
God.
wow.
That's pretty steamy area in there in the summer.
You think that they would have been
Hot and
on that
steamy.
way before that.
You would think so.
No, apparently not, though.
Obviously not.
88, you want to tell us about that? There's 3 of them, so perfect for you.
1988, LIRR says Penn Station will get. Oh wait, you already read
Yeah.
that. I'm stupid. 1988, New York City, first case of Rocky Mountain spotted fever. 9-year-old Bronx boy.
Huh.
Mm.
I've heard of Rocky Mountain, ha, but not, spot and fever. So,
No, me neither. 1988, Pakistani President Mohammed Zia-ul-Haq and U.S. Ambassador Arnold Raphael are killed in a plane crash.
that sounds a little fishy.
Yeah,
the
that's always
president
fishy when
and an
these guys-
ambassador. Yeah.
Well, they fly a lot.
Yeah. Oh, but what a great way to get rid of them,
That's true too.
That just seems a little fishy. The president of
But
Pakistan. Anything is possible. I'm just saying
Anything's
it's
fishy.
weird, like. Oh, here we go.
1988, U.S. Republicans nominate George H. Walker Bush for president.
H.W. Bush.
Yep. And you want to take 89 to wrap up the 80s?
Is that Bush?
1989, Baltimore
Yeah,
Orioles
that's
shortstop
right.
Cal Ripken plays his 1,208th consecutive games, moved to third place all-time behind New York Yankees Lou Gehrig and Boston Red Sox. New York Yankees Everett Scott.
All right. Is there someone out there named Scott Everett or something? Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else.
Could
I
be
don't know.
someone.
1990, Exorcist 3, film written and directed by William Peter Blatty, premiered. I didn't even realize there was a 2. Like, Exorcist, like...
Yeah, me neither.
Like...
What happened to 2?
Well,
We know about 1.
Yeah,
The Exorcist.
yeah I don't
Assuming
know.
it's one and the same.
I don't know how you can make sequels to, like, these, like,
Yeah.
things, like...
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like, Paranormal Activity, Blair Witch,
I never saw
thing.
that.
Neither have I.
I remember my
And now there's
UPS
like
guy
20 of
coming in
them or
there.
something. Like,
I remember my UPS coming in there, dropping off whatever was coming to us from UPS, and he had saw Blair Witch the night before,
oh wow.
and he thought it was actual film, actual documentary.
Yeah.
The word hadn't got out that it was
Fake, yeah.
a movie.
Yeah.
He was all shook up. The
whole-
next day, he was blown away.
Yeah, that's I'm not sure if it started, but it certainly, made the claim to fame of found footage style videos.
Yeah.
Or movies
Yeah.
and such. So, another one, another popular one being Cloverfield. So,
Of course, the one that started it all was back. I can't even think of the name of it. What was the radio show?
Oh, well, that's not really found footage. You're talking about...
No, but it's the same idea. Everybody thought it was real.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're talking about War of the Worlds and
Yeah.
such. But no, this is the found footage specifically is about. Oh, I found this. Let's look at it. Oh my God, there's a witch. Like,
Well, this was now that was born. What do you call it? TV now. All the stuff that they try to do that's real.
sensationalism and all that
No,
stuff.
not sensationalism. People that are acting like it's real life every day and they're going through whatever situations. and
Oh,
all
like
that.
mockumentary or something like that.
Yeah, that's a name. I don't remember what it is.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Anyway, 1990 as well, Phyllis Pullender sued Mike Tyson for sexual harassment. All right. 91, Royals Warren Cromartie's first major league home run since 1983. Wow, that's a long dry spell right there.
What year was it again?
83 to 91. So that's 8 years without a home run.
Surprising he was still in the league. That's the longevity.
Yeah, yeah. Like
He's
why,
still in there.
Why they didn't get him out of there? No. 1998. Here we go. Monica Lewinsky scandal. U.S. President Bill Clinton admitted in tape testimony he had an improper physical relationship with that woman.
Yeah.
With the intern, and on the same day admitted before the nation he misled people about the relationship.
Yeah.
You know.
Finally, when he had to, he fessed up to. Because originally he said, I never touched that woman.
Oh,
Monica Lewinsky.
I think the quote is, "I had no
Lewinsky.
sexual relationship with that woman," or something like that.
And then he put her name in there when that woman wasn't going to fly.
Yeah.
So second thought was, whoops, I better put her name in there, not that woman.
That woman had a name. Like,
Sucker.
Damn. 1999 as well, a 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck Izmit in Turkey, killing more than 17,000 people and injuring an additional 44,000. Wow! With population density, like Turkey, like one of the...
Especially the way they constructed stuff back in
Yeah, so... Moving on up into the next millennium, what do we got here in 2004?
2004, the National Assembly in Serbia unanimously adopts new state symbols for Serbia. Bonds Pravid becomes the new anthem, and a coat of arms is adopted for the whole country.
I had no idea Serbia had a coat of arms. I mean, 2004, like, it's way after that was really a thing, but hey, cool. Ooh, okay, here we go.
Everybody should have a coat of arms.
This one, is major here. It's 2005.
The first forced evacuation of settlers as part of the Israel unilateral disengagement plan starts.
What have I been saying?
Wait a minute, that's Israel pulling out stakes in land that they had captured in war. They pulled out and gave it back to them.
Yeah, by force.
Not by force.
The first forced evacuation of settlers. They were forced.
They forced the settlers out. It wasn't a forced evacuation. It was Israel. Wait a minute.
The settlers
Let
being
me
Israel.
speak. The Israeli government forced the settlers out to give the land back to the Palestinians.
And
That's the force, is the Israeli government, because they had reached an agreement to give the land back.
And who was the settlers?
The Palestinians.
No, the settlers are...
No, were Israelites.
Yes.
They had settled in the land because they had conquered it in war, and they agreed to give it back. And I believe that's the same time they had greenhouses there to grow food and everything. The Palestinians, when they took the land back, destroyed all of that. Even though it was good for the people and fed them. Oh, Israel built this. We gotta destroy it.
It says here, 21 Israeli settlements in the Gaza Strip and 4 Israeli settlements in the West Bank were unilaterally dismantled. Israeli settlers and army evacuated from inside the Gaza Strip, redeploying its military along the border. The disengagement was conducted unilaterally by Israel. In particular, Israel rejected any coordination or orderly handover to the Palestinian Authority.
Yeah.
Israel's in the wrong here.
No, they aren't.
They're the settlers. They're the ones taking over. They're the aggressors.
They're pulling out their settlers. They're forcing their settlers out.
Yeah, because they're in the wrong. They're taking over. They're manifest destinying at Palestine.
I'm done.
Oh. What do we got here in 2007?
2007, Perez Hilton mistakenly announces the death of Cuban leader Fidel Castro.
Whoops.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops.
Ooh, 2012.
Gay pride events are banned for a century in Moscow.
Huh. All right.
2012, 3 members of Russian punk band Pussy Riot are jailed for 2 years. I remember that.
Oh my God, what a name. Yeah. Pussy
Free
Riot.
Pussy Riot. 2013, 15 civilians are killed by a Syrian warplane attack on Aleppo.
Yeah.
2015
as well, discovery of 7,000-year-old mass grave in Schoneck, Kiliesistan, central Germany, published in PNAS Journal. 26 body bear evidence of violent conflict. So it has to be after a battle or something.
7,000 years?
7,000-year-old mass grave. So it must have been like some crazy battle, because violent conflict, or...
It just shows over and over again we're a violent species.
We are, definitely. 2015 as well. The world's first flower could be the world's first flower could be underwater plants. What? Oh. World's first flower could be underwater plants. Monstachia vidali claim U.S. botanists. Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. So an underwater flower? Is that what it's
Yeah,
saying?
that's what it's saying.
Huh. All right. 2017, anti-immigrant One Nation Party leader Pauline Hanson was widely criticized for wearing a burqa in the Australian Parliament. All right. Well, you know, you want to practice your religion, fine, but don't practice it in, you know, areas of public, you know, if that's not the religion of the country, you know?
I think you should still be able to personally, your personal beliefs oversee that. I mean, you're not coming in with a gun to make everybody...
Not yet, but as soon as we allow one thing, if you give a mouse a cookie, you know, it'll be like, oh, well, now that you've allowed us to wear this headdress, now you must wear it, otherwise, you know, you're the bad guy. Like, you know, that's... Where does the line, you know...
Well,
line?
that, and there you go. There's, in a nutshell, the strength and the weakness of societies that want freedom.
Yep. What do we got here? Another 2017 collision. This is incredible.
Collision of two neutron stars witnessed for the first time. First picked up by U.S.-based laser interferometer gravitational wave observatory, LIGO.
Wow.
Collision of two neutron stars. Wow.
Whoa.
I wonder if that made a gamma ray burst or something.
Mm.
You know,
You wonder what it did. And how far away is it? Is it a long, long distance out as far as stars go? Or is it...
And you know what a neutron star is, right?
What?
Like, there's a lot of
It's a
various
type of
stars
star.
and everything. Well, of course, it's a star.
But it's a neutron star.
A neutron star isn't a type of ham sandwich, you know? It is... A neutron star is the collapsed core of a massive supergiant star. So it is what's left over after a supernova. Or supernova?
It's a dying star,
It's
right?
a dead star.
A dead star, yeah, more than dying. It's,
Well, it's a dead star, but it's another stage of life at the same time. Like it's the core, it's collapsed, so it's no longer. But
is
it's
that
still
the forming of a black hole then?
no. That's one of the potential. So if a star
It's not big
goes,
enough for that?
well, it really depends on the mass, because big does not equivalent mass.
Oh, true.
So it depends on the mass. It can either collapse in on itself and make a black hole if it has enough matter to do so, to make a singularity, or if it doesn't have enough, it makes a neutron star. Or a pulsar, or something like that.
So a neutron star is actually a dead star.
Just the core.
Yeah.
It's what's
But it's
left
dead.
over. It's dead, but it's still emitting light. It still has gravity.
So it still has...
It's still around, but it's no longer a star, what it used to be.
Right.
So
it's still burning energy then?
Yes.
Okay.
It's still
so
producing
it's not
light.
really dead.
Well, it's
If
not.
it's producing light, it has energy.
Well, let's see. It results from a supernova explosion of a massive star combined with gravitational collapse that compresses the core past white dwarf star density to that of atomic nuclei. Except for black holes, neutron stars are the smallest and densest known class of stellar objects. So they are the very last, right before a black hole.
Okay. They're the next... They're the step before a black hole.
Well, they're not going to become
No,
one
they
because,
won't.
but there just
I
wasn't
don't
enough
understand
mass.
most of that, but I kind of get it.
But now imagine two of those colliding. Wow.
And I wonder what happens when they collide.
Well,
There's a whole story under this sentence.
Well, that's
which
what
we don't have time for.
Well, that's
now.
what I'm imagining. Like, would that create enough energy to, coming out to make a?
Or does it produce a black hole?
Well,
good.
Yeah, the combination of masses. It really depends on where the energy goes.
Yeah, no, we don't know. We're sitting here, we have no clue.
Yeah.
Somebody does.
Yeah.
Fill us in, please.
Yeah. Comment
I'd really
section.
like to know.
Yeah. What else do we got here? King, on this day?
No comment, huh?
Alright. I'm sorry, what?
On this day,
on this
2017.
day. 2017 on this day helps launch Borino Dictionary, an online not-for-profit dictionary of indigenous Borneo languages with translations in English and Bahasa Malaysia.
That's awesome, because on this day is this source, on this day right here.
Yeah.
So they're talking about themselves. So our source helped launch this Borneo dictionary.
Yeah.
Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah. Uno Mas 2017.
Three Hong Kong activists, Jason Wong, Nathan Law, and Alex Cho, jailed for unlawful assembly.
Sure.
All
It's gotta
right.
be Hong Kong, right? Is that what it said?
Yeah.
Did it say
Yeah, 3 Hong Kong
Okay.
activists. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Now we don't have many more articles. Well, I'm just gonna wrap us up here. So let's see here.
Alright.
2019, huge wildfires began on Gran Canaria and the Canary Islands, prompting evacuation of 9,000 people. 2019 as well, landmark power sharing deal signed by military and civilian leaders celebrated in Khartoum, Sudan, with transitional government to take over September 1st. 2019 as well, we have a suicide bombing at a wedding in Kabul, Afghanistan, killing 63, with over 200 injured. The Islamic State claims responsibility. 2022, actually there's 3 articles left. It's all yours, King, if you want to take them.
Sorry, which ones?
2022, China.
2022, China issued its highest red alert heat warning for at least 138 cities and counties amid the country's longest heat wave record since began 64 days.
Wow.
Mm.
So the next 64 days, heat wave. Yikes.
2022, possible second smaller impact crater that wiped out the dinosaurs in Nadir crater, 8.5 kilometers across, identified off the coast of Guinea, West Africa.
Ooh.
So what's the second one? Possible second smaller impact.
Yeah.
Was that like a piece of it or something?
I think so.
Maybe.
So it might have been not just one meteor, but like a couple, and then that really screwed over.
Broke up. Yeah. Okay.
Huh. Yeah.
In 2022, UK's inflation rates rise to a new 40-year height of 10.1%, with food costs the largest contributor.
Yeah.
Heat. Yeah. That'll do it. Heat equals need of energy.
Yep. And 2023 here, we have U.S. 30-year fixed mortgage rate rises above 7% for the first time in 21 years.
Yeah.
Yikes. And that'll conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar in the description below for any links you may be interested in, including but not limited to Omni Coalition, from history sources, collected links, and all that stuff. For your dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 11 in the morning Pacific Time, 12 noon Mountain, 1 Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. We do have other shows from history to news, movie reactions and reviews, and also Omni Kitchen coming up eventually. Check your underbar. For all of you and all of us, I'm Xander.
King's Refuge.
Golden Loom, better known as the sidekick.
Or leave it to Beaver Me Cleaver.
Yeah.
And
Connor.
there we go. And of course, you viewer, thank you once again for very much for watching. And until you catch us again, whenever that is, wherever that is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!
Oh yeah.
Stop streaming here. And that is the wrong button. I want this one.
Have a good one, guys.
Yep.